Hey gang, this is going to be a little bit awkward, but this is part 2 of a 2-part video, and so this is basically a huge video talking about the different showcases. And in this video specifically, we talk about just the Xbox showcase. If you want to hear our opinions on the Sony's showcase, the Summer Game Fest, or a little bit on Nintendo's little direct at the end of everything, then head on over to part 1 and you're going to enjoy that. But if you only care about the Xbox stuff, then, well, here we go. The last one. Final.
There we go.
For last. And the big one, the meatiest one, and without exaggeration, the most impressive one. And the one that Xbox needed. This is the Xbox Showcase of course. I'll get to my overall thoughts at the end as well, but this is one where I looked, it's like, okay, games that we should talk about, and it's like tick, 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 tick. And then I get to the end, and
they came out
and
swinging.
then I compare it to the list of the games that came out, and it's pretty much all of it. It's pretty much the entire showcase. So, in this case, and this is one that Andrew did see live with me.
Yes, I was able to tune in for this one, and it was a grand old time to be had.
It was a great time.
It was a lot of fun, actually.
Thank you for coming out on a Sunday, so people can watch it. But it was a grand old time, and so. They started the showcase with the reboot to Fable, which this one's been getting a whole lot of flack for something I really don't care about. Because it's like, oh, the girl's so ugly, and it's like, bro, you make your character.
Yeah,
I don't know why they made
half the time we all make hideous characters.
Yeah, if it's a FromSoft game, I always make them disgusting.
I get it, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, you make your character, bro. It's like, if you were forced to play as her, I definitely have a fucking issue with it, but I'm like, I'll just make my own dude, bro.
Fine. If you have to play her, then you know I'm gonna play like an evil playthrough. So like she looks so like ugly, and it's like dark and evil, and like, you know, like Senua you pick up
and
at the club.
This one caught me off guard too. I did not expect a Fable remake. I don't know, because they typically just listen to what people are begging for, and then eventually get around to it. But then Fable, I was like, fuck, all right, that's just something I've put on the shelf for a while and forgot about.
Trailer, it had the Fable humor. It had that one guy from like the IT crowd, which is like, I kind of like that show. That's kind of goofy. A big giant, quite literally, Jack and the Beanstalk looking ass guy.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, it was kind of goofy, kind of funny. It's Fable. This game was like announced a couple years ago, and people like, yeah, this game's coming out years from now. And then Xbox like, here it is. Here's your game. Here's gameplay, or at least in-engine footage.
Yeah.
So this one in interest, it's kind of on the lower end for me, to be honest. It's like, it's Fable. Like It's like, am I excited? Kinda, yeah. I'll play it. But this is the thing that I'll have to say, and it's pretty much for every single one of these. And it's like, it's on Game Pass. So yeah, you bet your ass I'm gonna play it. So, that's what I gotta say. Waves, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm a Game Pass person too, so, I mean, there's no downside to games that come out, especially on the Xbox platform. They're like, hey, every game we're releasing now is free on the fucking Game Pass. I'm like, well, shit. Say less. I'm already paying for it. It's technically free for me. So yeah, no, definitely going to be giving Fable a solid run through.
Yeah. And I will make the slight correction because some people give me crap for it. Because it's like, well, it's free. And it's like, no, okay. Yes, we understand. We pay for it as part of our subscription. But, you know,
you get your money's worth, though. I mean, like, if you add up every game on there, like, these are, you know, what are these, $70 releases, $60, $70? If you add those all up, I pay $10 a month. If I play these, like, I get my money's worth. I download different games all the time from the Game Pass. I'm getting my money's worth. I paid $10 monthly to play hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of games.
Hours and unlimited thousands of hours worth of experiences.
And every kind of game, too. You're not limited on genre and stuff. Like, you've got Fable, and then, of course, we'll get to it here in a minute, but Forza and stuff, too. Like, it's all over the place.
And so, Andrew, what do you think?
I as a fan of the Fable franchise, back when it was still relevant, I was surprised and and pleased by the announcement of the new Fable title. Now, a part of me is wondering if it'll fall into the same trap as like the Saints Row reboot, where the writing will just be fucking atrocious.
Yeah.
But
plays Fable, talks to like a townsperson. Student loans, am I
oh
right?
my god,
Like, what?
That'd be actually kind of funny though. It was like
you think so?
medieval setting.
be
It's like,
funny.
oh, my student loans.
Shit.
What are you on about?
Wow.
I need the
See, that's
king
so
to
fu-
relay the taxes so I can pay off my student debts to the crown.
That's funny that I say that out of my ass, and it works better than
Yeah.
Saints Row. People that made Saints Row, on the off chance you ever watch this, oh my god, just give up. Just give up. You're not built for this, bro.
Oh boy, but yeah, that's like I could kind of see that. It's like, okay, let's see where the humor is, because it's like it is British humor. It is kind of a bit of like new age, kind of dry British humor, but we'll see. Like I said, it's part of Game Pass, so there's no reason not to.
I like Blackadder. I like British humor.
Yeah. So anyway, next game on the list. This is South of Midnight, which is developed by Compulsion Games. That they made that We Happy Few, another super British game. But this game, it's like set in like in the South. It's set in the bayou looking place, and it's like the one thing that immediately caught my mind about this trailer is that it's like the aesthetic looks really, really good. It almost looks like Coraline almost. Like really it has a really striking visual aesthetic. The main character lady that you're playing, it's like, I'm sorry, you're just Black Loba from Apex. but the main big guy that I guess she's supposed to fight or something like that, it was kind of neat. Like, yeah, like apparently you're supposed to be like a hunter or something like that you're going after these enemies or whatever. It's like a rip in reality sort of thing that's letting these sort of like supernatural creatures come out, and you use magic in this game, but it's like basically your magic's not like a fireball. It's like the manipulation of reality to do what you need to do. So that was from like a discussion that they had in an interview and a different thing. But this is another in-engine one, and basically pretty much all of these are in-engine. There's no pre-rendered CG for any of these. So that's like, if it looks like, yeah, I know this is like a cinematic trailer, but if it's in-engine and that's how it runs, then it looks good. It's like, it looks good, but not a whole lot to bite our teeth into with this one.
Yeah.
Andrew, what do you think?
It again, I would have liked to have seen some gameplay, and not just the cinematic aspects. Because while we have kind of like an idea of the theme of it all in the Southern Bayou aesthetic, there's still not a whole ton that I know. Maybe there's stuff online and I just haven't been paying attention. But like per se, I don't really quite know what to expect for this one. So yeah, I'll wait and see for this.
Oh, okay. Waves, what do you think?
Yeah, again, gameplay is going to be a necessary thing, but Game Pass, so, I'll probably give it a shot.
Yeah, you guys have that advantage, so.
Oh, you can get it. Yeah, you got a PC.
I do.
PC for Game Pass, only $10 a month.
Damn. Subscriptions, though.
Oh my god. This is like a whole
I know.
argument.
I know.
Don't you guys pay for every subscription?
Yeah. Yeah, they do. I don't.
Oh, you don't?
I like it that way.
Oh, okay. This is the only subscription I pay for, Andrew, because it's actually worth a penny. But that's my opinion, anyways. Apart from some other things, but those aren't media ones. But moving on to the only one that's probably like one of the few that's not on Game Pass, and one isn't a exclusive either. But this is the Star Wars game from Massive Entertainment, the creators of The Division and The Division 2, and I guess The Division Heartlands at somewhere. And more importantly, a game called World in Conflict that I absolutely love. That's made by Massive Entertainment, but Massive came out and they showed off Star Wars Outlaws, which is their big, giant, like, Star Wars open world game, which is the worst description you can give for something, but it's kind of like a neater aesthetic. It's not about the Empire, it's not about Jedi, it's not about anything like that. It's dealing with the Pike syndicates and your Hutts and your Jabbas, dealing with the underworld of Star Wars, which is part of the setting that's really underutilized in my opinion. Like, they don't do enough of the skeezy, scummy stuff. They got to do more of that. And so, but it's got your Star Wars hallmarks. It's got a goofy, quippy character and a cute creature and or droid companion.
Of course, yeah.
This one is disgusting. It's like cute and disgusting. Because the face is like too humanoid on this like creature. And I'm like, this thing is disgusting. But that thing, it scares me. Yeah, cool trailer, cool CG trailer when it came out. The only CG trailer in this showcase, and it wasn't an Xbox first party one. Cool little CG trailer. The day after they showed off the gameplay for the Star Wars Outlaws, and it looks like your typical Ubisoft open world sort of stuff. And I have to say, personally, as somebody who hasn't played like Ubisoft like games in a long time, mostly because like they make the same game over and over and over. Yeah. And the one open world game I do like from them is The Division, even though I have a lot of problems with it. And then this is one of those games where I'm gonna be real. The IP is doing like all the heavy lifting. Because like gameplay wise, it's like, well, yeah, it's nothing really anything different. But because it's Star Wars, it's like, yeah, I'll take a bite out of it. I'll give it a try. So.
Honestly, and I know Tom and I have gone back and forth, I'm just kind of burnt out on the single player Star Wars thing right now. Like Jedi, Fallen Order, and Survivor. I've had my fill. I'm full. My tummy's full. They need to focus in. They need to focus in and sort it out. I need Star Wars RPG. I need Knights of the Old Republic to get sorted out and
it's not coming out. It's not coming out anytime soon.
It's not coming out anytime soon, but I need it. I need an RPG. I want to make my own character in Star Wars. I want to LARP as a Jedi and a Sith. I want to LARP. I need it. That's what like dessert stomach and regular stomach. You eat all your food, but you still got room for dessert. I've had my Jedi, Fallen Order, Survivor. I need my dessert of RPG Star Wars. And on top of that, I know this is a thing to me because I'm a fucking dweeb, but it's just, I have a hard time connecting with a female MC. I can't really, depending on how the writing is, maybe she'll be a bit more relatable to me, but it's just, I have a really hard time relating. And so on a game where I'm trying to get sucked into the story, I really like to kind of project onto a main character, which I was able to do with Cal Kestis. I'm not sure I'll be able to do that in Outlaws. Regardless, Game Pass will probably give it a little running around, so no downtime.
Oh, it's not. Well.
Oh, yeah, it is Ubisoft, and I don't want to touch that launcher.
So this is a Watch the Tom video at launch, because I'll probably play.
That's a Tom video there.
This is well, first let's go, Andrew. We'll go to you first, and then I'll say my 2 pieces, my 3 pieces. My Juan piece.
Your Juan piece. Oh, the One Piece.
Yeah, the Juan piece.
No, like developer aside, like the Star Wars title looks. Oh geez, what am I at a loss for words now? I like how the companion pet is not a droid this time, because. It makes now this is going to be a tired argument, but it makes the universe feel larger. If we're always using droids and we're in a universe that is populated by, I would assume, an infinite amount of species, then why is it that we're not seeing any sort of like pet companions that aren't like manufactured, right?
Yeah.
So I like that aspect. I do honestly like the whole bit where you can order the pet around. Now, I don't believe it's going to be to the exact same degree as what they showcased in the trailer. I think that was probably exaggerated to some degree. But the fact that you can interact with the creature and get it to maneuver the environments around to create new opportunities for attack or negotiation, that was fun.
It was like it picked up like a blaster too from some person who shot.
The bit where she was trying to talk her way out of getting caught by the pike soldier, I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, you could just like pull a blaster on him, just gun him down.
And then pull the blaster and then shoot first. Yeah. So yeah, it'll be. I think this one has the potential to be pretty good on the same level. Probably not on the same level, but pretty darn close to like Jedi Survivor.
We'll see. I'm gonna give out my biases, and as I've been saying this entire time, Star Wars is one of those franchises. They could come out with slop, and I'll eat it up. They have come out with slop, and I'll eat it up. It's one of those, like, I'm very, very forgiving with Star Wars, and it's one of those, like I said before, the IP's doing the heavy lifting here. If this was anything else, I probably wouldn't have played it, or wouldn't be looking forward to it. So, this one, it's coming out next year, so it's got time to cook. It's got a time to be between Jedi Survivor and then, because if it did come out today, then yeah, it would be like, okay, I'm going to compare it to this game that even though it had problems on launch and it was literally unplayable, now that it is playable, it's like, holy shit, this is one of the best Star Wars games, story-wise, since like Knights of the Old Republic. Like, with no exaggeration. And so, it is a game that, like, I will be honest, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna eat this up. I'm gonna play it. This is gonna be the first Ubisoft game I probably played in years that I'll finally give it a try and, and give it its fair shake at. I kind of like, I don't know, I play a lot of games that, don't have men in it, so I don't really care for what character it is. If it's annoying, then it's like, yeah, okay, no thanks. Voice 0. No more. This disgusting creature thing, yeah, it's kind of cute, but I think in its like manipulation of the environment, I think it'll be like in really more closed spaces, because like this was in a hangar. So it's like, yeah, okay, you'll be in these more enclosed spaces where you can do stuff like that. And that's like, in my theory, that's probably where it would come out, but we'll have to see. I don't know, there's something goofy and kind of novel about running away from the Empire, and you got like a wanted, like, you have like a wanted, like, meter or whatever, where the Empire's gonna come after you.
Yeah, there's no way that's gonna be.
It's like, we'll see how it is, because it's like,
yeah.
If it is, it'd be kind of neat, actually, because it's like you gotta run away, and it's like, whoa, you can't just run away forever on speeder bike, or maybe you could. After that, it's like, well, you gotta get out of the damn system. You're in trouble. Get out of here. But, yeah. So, I don't know. It looks pretty decent. We will see. I'll have to see more gameplay for sure. See where the story goes. But, we'll see. Some people also said that, like, it's like, well, I don't know, are we gonna get, like, we already got a space game and, like, Starfield. And I'm like, oh my god, dude, like, stop being stupid and dishonest. They're, like, completely different games. Like, completely different. Like, it's very silly, but I don't know. You guys have any final thoughts?
Nah.
No, I've already said my piece.
No, okay.
Damn.
Final thing is, you all have to buy it because the main voice actress is a Venezuelana. So buy it. Pay for your money.
Oh, okay.
Pay for a copy. Pay for 2 copies. That sort of thing.
Yep. We gotta show our support.
Mama!
Gotta show our support.
Mama, credit card! Mama, credit card!
Anyway. Ooh, next game. Oh, man. Next game. This is weak. So, hey, guys that have been watching this program, remember, like, way back when my, like, most anticipated, like, theoretical hypothetical game was a game called a Persona 3 remake? Well, we got it,
Yep.
We got it. And the problem
we got it.
Is that I don't know if any of you other guys have it, but I got a monkey's paw lying around here, and the finger cranked. The finger bended over when this came out. So, through a full disclosure, when this came out, I was soy jacking at the screen so hard it's not even funny. And Andrew was probably too. We were both like, oh, yeah. Just screaming, like, because my god,
I didn't want to believe it. I had been saying for many years they will never do it, and then they fucking did it.
And they did it, and it looks gorgeous. It looks beautiful. It's there's like some things that are like different that are really cool. Like it's a really minor change, but like when you go to there's like a lot more Latin and more like a few Latin elements in it. Like, for example, when you go to the dark hour, it doesn't say like dark hour anymore. It says like hora tenebrosa, which if you translate it, guess what it says, Andrew?
I don't know.
It says dark hour.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's just a little thing. It's like, ooh, dark hour. Oh, in Spanish. Oh, neat. What else are we gonna have? Probably not much. But then the troubles started coming out not too long after the showcase, where this is one that's like, ooh, I can understand why, because I have a theory, but turns out the whole cast is getting recast. Everybody's getting recasted, which is like the complete opposite end of the spectrum compared to like that Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, where it's like, we're just gonna literally reuse the voices. This one, it's a whole new cast, and it's one of those where it's like, I don't know how to feel about that. My initial feeling is like, oh no, yeah, like initial feeling is like, I don't know. I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. I love Atlas. I love their games. I love Persona 3.
Yeah.
The last time I experienced a Persona anything, it was actually the Persona 3 Persona 3 movies. That was in Japanese, so I'm not used to those people speaking that way. So I will give them the benefit of the doubt, but I am gonna say, I'm sorry to the people that have to do that. You gotta do some heavy lifting. You gotta do some heavy goddamn lifting. Because the people you're replacing are really, really good. Why are they being replaced? I think Atlas, it's a budget thing. And I think it's a budget thing because there's a lot of other things too that kind of creep up to the surface. Where...
Yeah, I'm thinking that too.
Two, the other one is none of the side content, apart from some. So for example, the other two big Persona things is Persona 3 FES, came out on PS2, and Persona 3 Portable. On Persona 3 Portable, they added a whole new character. You could play Femc, female main character, if you will. And it changes completely the social links that you had access to. Because instead of talking to all the chicks, you're talking to all the dudes now. Sort of thing. And so there are some of them that are really big, and some of them that actually changed the story quite a bit. Especially with Shinjiro. There I go.
Yeah, Shinjiro.
With him, it's one of those where like if you further his social link, he doesn't die. Oops. Spoiler. Spoiler. Spoiler for a game from what, 2006?
Yeah. If not older.
If not older, yeah. So it's like, yeah, so he could change that way. That's not in the reload in this Persona 3 remake. This soundtrack I could see getting into it, because I think most of the Personas lately, you could literally download a pack that's like, oh, here's the soundtrack. Here's the combat themes, here's all the stuff from it. So that it's not worried about. FES though, the answer, which is the epilogue to Persona 3, that basically ties the whole story together, it is not in the game either. And so my theory is that Atlas is going to do what Atlas does, and we're going to have to double dip for this one. I think they're going to come out with a Persona 3 Reloaded, and I think they're going to come with the Persona 3 Reloaded, I don't know, 50 BMG.
Oh, like, of course.
So I think that's what's happening, and I also think they're doing this on a budget, because you also notice this one, it said Unreal Engine, so it's not on the other engine, just like the P engine or whatever. But Andrew, you're our main Persona guy around here, apart from myself. So like our Junpei Ace Defective kind of guy.
That's right.
So
he resents that.
Yeah, I resent that. Oh man. And that's so let me hear what you gotta think.
Okay. Well,
from every emotion.
Yeah. Well, it was exciting. It was exciting when that came up, and it's using the new engine that they used to make Persona 5, and the character models look like they're...
It isn't.
It's not?
It's Unreal.
Oh.
It's Unreal Engine.
Oh. All right. I rescind my statement.
But I get what you mean. It's like, it's the 3D models, gorgeous. Gorgeous. It's not like the old 3D where it's like, damn, that person looks like an actual Asian person. And then everybody else looks stylized.
Yeah. So seeing those environments that we saw way back when on the PS2, and maybe if they're a little bit sharper on the emulator, now they're got this wonderful makeover, and it looks great, and seeing the shadows come to life in this new rendering will be exciting. I get the feeling that there's going to be elements of the story that are changed, just so that it would make more sense for them to then do the FES and then the P3 portable stuff being added after the fact. And on the topic of the voice actors changing, it's funny because there's actually a few of the old cast who are still being called in, but they're doing different roles. They're not doing the main characters. So it's those things.
So it's not a cost thing then, because they're bringing them in for something else. I have
no clue. Yeah,
fatless decision. It's just a fatless moment.
It might be because a lot of the actors are either getting on in age, or they have to do this shifting around because of the death of a few cast members. Like the original voice actor for Igor.
Yeah. In the Japanese one, he did die. Or
he passed away.
Yeah.
So it's probably one of those that silly Japanisms where they've got this weird thing about recasts where they have to shift things around. So it'll be exciting having it come to modern consoles with this fresh new coat of paint and updated mechanics. But at the same time, these other design decisions regarding casting, they have me a bit on edge. But at the end of the day, it's a Persona title, so you can't go wrong with that.
We're gonna eat it up regardless. So
I honestly don't have much to say. I've never really played Persona games much. I tried 5 and I got kind of bored.
Wrong audience for that. We'll pretend like we didn't hear it, so don't worry about it.
It's not that it's a bad game. It's just not for me, I don't think.
I could see that. It's a long game, too.
I like the story and the characters. Yeah, it's cool story, cool characters. I love the concepts. It's one of those games where I'm like, I'll watch a playthrough. Find a YouTuber I like, you know. That's just my feeling.
We're not saying anything.
JRPGs are rough for me to get into. I either pick them up and get sucked in like Final Fantasy 7, or I sit there and I'm like, this is cool, but I'd rather just kind of read the story.
No, and
that's fair.
Understandable. That's fair. Oh boy. So, one caveat. That's nice. This is a Game Pass game, so it's like, phew. I got a double dip. If I got a double dip,
I'm gonna worry about.
Even if it was a Game Pass, you bet your ass I'd pay for this because I've been waiting for so long for it. And it's my favorite out of the Persona game.
You know how much I sacrificed?
Everything! Yeah. Even with, I think, they got a tough hill to climb. They got a lot of, the new voice actors, they gotta earn it, in a way. I understand it's old. A lot of those guys are old. A lot of those guys might be, either getting on with age or just might not care for it anymore. It's like with Troy Baker and Kanji Tatsumi. I don't think he'd come back for it. You know? Like,
no, probably not.
Probably not, because he's probably gone. And so, you know, in that sense, I could understand. I could see it. But we'll see. I guess we'll see what happens. That being said, I will say one thing, is that Fatless, you could have had a slam dunk here. This was literally the easiest slam dunk you could have ever done. And you pulled a Fatless, and you didn't. Which is, I should have seen it coming. I should have remembered I had a monkey's paw lying around. But it is what it is. But I guess we'll see. My excitement's a little bit diminished. But I'm sure when a big trailer comes out and it shows like actual cutscenes and characters talking and gameplay and the music hits in the right spot, I'll probably be like, yeah, okay, I'm sold. So, we'll see. We'll see. You got any final thing to add, Andrew?
No, I'm excited for it to come out. And we might have to run through it with the other guys on streaming through Discord or something. That'll be fun, I think.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, like a play together or something, but we'll see. Anyways, because we went through so much of that, onto something a bit different, and one that is kind of intriguing. Avowed. Avowed is a game that was something and then turned into something different, and this is like Obsidian Entertainment. This is their first-person action RPG set in their world of Aora, which is like the games that the Pillars of Eternity games are set in. And it's one of those games where everybody saw it and it's like, oh my god, Skyrim 2. Skyrim 2. This is the Skyrim ripoff. This is like the Skyrim ripoff, the Elder Scrolls ripoff. It's this, it's that, or whatever. And one, I didn't really think it was going to be that, because it's Obsidian. Obsidian doesn't do the big open world stuff. And so in this game, you're basically like you're an envoy of the Emperor in this setting that has gone to, it's called the Living Lands, which is like this part of the setting that's far off, and there's like a nasty disease and like corruption going through this land. You basically have to go and figure what the hell's going on, how to stop it, and things like that. And the people in the setting don't trust you because you're basically like an envoy from the Empire. So, from what they've said is that it's they started out as basically like, oh, we're gonna do an Elder Scrolls game, this big scale sort of Elder Scrolls game. Then it got like basically they said, we're not doing that. We can't do that. We don't have the funds and the talent and expertise to make a big Skyrim-like game. So then they crunch the scope all the way down, which for some people, they might not like. I'm going to be real, and I'm like, oh, thank God. When they said it's like, this is like, they said not in tone, but in scope. And they said this is like the Outer Worlds in scope. I was like, oh, phew, thank God. Not a huge RPG, but an RPG, a digestible RPG, if you will. Because, oh my God, we have an undigestible RPG coming up. So, and so, yeah, and they said big part of the story is like the story and the narrative is a big part of it. Choice is a big part of the narrative. Your companions are a big part of the narrative. All your companions, there aren't like in Pillars of Eternity where you can like hire them or not hire them sort of thing. They will be not forced upon you, but they will be part of your crew, and they will be a huge part of the narrative, which that is really interesting to me. Because they'll come in and they'll have things to say, and they have like, you know, if you make a decision, it's not like they might go, yo, what the hell, dude? Like, really? But in a fantasy setting, part of the trailer I really liked was they said it's like, you know, it's like you're different. You could use your powers like for good or evil or whatever. And then the guy says like, honestly, like we're scared of you. And so like that's kind of interesting that like these people they're afraid of what you can do, what kind of power you can wield. So that's kind of what it is. Gameplay wise, it looked kind of eh. Apparently, and it might just be cope, but apparently Obsidian says like the guys who did the trailer, they didn't do it justice, but we'll see how it is. I don't really care if it doesn't look the prettiest. It's like I'm at an age where I can appreciate if something looks great and fantastic, but if the game can also run on my computer as well on full settings, I'll be happy. So,
yep.
All right, Waves, kick it off to you this time.
Avowed looks really cool. I mean, I still haven't finished Pillars of Eternity. It's another backlog game, but I really like the look of this one. It looks really cool. It looks like it's going to scratch my RPG craving itch, so I'm definitely hyped for it.
Yeah, that's kind of in the same spot I am. It's like an itch. It's like, you know, it's not one where I need to play for hours and hours and hours, like hundreds of hours. It's a game that's like, you know, if it's like 40 hours, good. I'm happy. Like,
cool. Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah.
Andrew, what do you think?
Having kind of fallen off of Pillars of Eternity because their writing didn't quite grip me as much as their other title, Tyranny, did, I am a little hesitant to go headlong into this one, especially if it's going to be as lengthy a title as, say, the Skyrim, which is what people are comparing it to.
But it's not going to be, though.
Well, and
they said the scope is closer to Outer Worlds, and that's like a 30-40 hour game.
That's still quite a few. That's still a long time to invest in a title. Did you play Outer Worlds, Tom?
Yeah.
What did you find about their writing?
At first when I played it, because I played it on release, I thought it was kind of like underwhelming, and some of it kind of cringy, and I was like, oh, okay, like they're trying to do something else. The biggest problem the Outer Worlds had when it was released and all the trailers and advertising they had for it is that they said, from the creators of Fallout 2, and New Vegas. And that sets the expectation, where it's going to be written at that level, or even at that tone. And the thing is that it's not that. It's a different thing. And so having replayed it recently, I liked it a lot better that time. Where it's like I could actually give it its chance to play, give it its chance to do. There's the 2 DLCs, which is like... it's like Murder on the Eridanos, and then I forget the other one. The other one, it's decent, it's okay. But Murder on the Eridanos is like a murder mystery on like a starship. And it's like a really good DLC. Like I actually really, really liked it. And I'm like,
it's like those murder mystery novels, like Murder on the Orient Express, or Death on the Nile, things like that.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Is that Agatha Christie?
Yeah, something like that. But it was I really liked it, and it was like, okay, so if this is the quality of writing you're gonna be at, then okay, sure, I'll do that. I know Josh Sawyer's not super involved because he was involved on his dream game last year, which was Pentiment. But that's another Obsidian game, and I absolutely loved Pentiment. So it's one of those where, yeah, I'll give it a try, and as with a lot of the games on this list, it's part of Game Pass, so it's like, why wouldn't I?
Might as well.
It's like, if any game is on Game Pass and you pay for it, and you're even just slightly interested, there's no reason not. No reason not to, right? So, this one I am interested in, looking forward to. So, yeah, with that, any closing thoughts, fellas?
No, not really. I'm down for it.
Yeah. Andrew?
Ready.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Next one. This one I think I'm going to try and blast through rather quickly. The Senua Saga Hellblade 2. And this is one of those where it's like, it's one of those games where it's like, oh, really? You showed it again? And you haven't really showed anything more off? It's a game that's like set in, I don't know, olden Norsen times. I think it's like in Iceland. And basically you play a like schizophrenic woman that is just psycho and nuts. What's funny is that it's a very disrespectful way to do it, because their whole shtick is that they're trying to like very faithfully, like not replicate, but like portray a woman that's going through a bunch of mental problems and shit, like schizophrenia being one of them. And so every time I watch one of these, it's always neat to hear like the different voices in the head, playing, like, especially if you got a headset. That's always really, really good. And like the first one, I liked the first one. It was a decent 15, 20 hour game, like, you know, or 10 hour game. One of the two, I forget. So I don't really have much to say. The only thing is that, like, you've showed this game too many times and you still haven't shown gameplay, and I'm curious why. And that's kind of my big thing. This one's like here's another cutscene. And I'm like, yeah, okay, it's cool. It looks great. Like, it looks gorgeous. Like, this is one of those, you think of, like, Sony level game where, like, their games are high fidelity, high quality, that sort of stuff. That's what this looks like, but we gotta see, I gotta see the gameplay for it, so. Andrew, what do you think?
For Senua's it's not sacrifice, save.
Senua's Saga, yeah.
Yeah, Saga. Sorry, Saga. I wasn't. I didn't know much about the Senua's title before because I didn't play the first one, and I really didn't look too much into it. So when I first started hearing the voices, I was like, "What the heck is that?
What the hell?
Is that just me?" Because I was wearing headphones when we were watching the Xbox showcase. So the fact that is baked into the game, where you're wondering if you're going mad by hearing these two people.
This lady is literally
hearing
insane.
these people, and you're hearing everything too. So you're wondering if or you're getting a feel for how she must see and experience the world. So that whole aspect of it was pretty neat. But again, like you said, there still isn't a whole ton that they've shown beyond like that one troll fight they showed.
Yeah, it was
months or a year ago.
A couple years ago.
So, yeah. So still a lot left to the imagination, which is a good thing.
That's something they'll show off.
Makes you hungry more.
Because that's a 2024 game, and same with Avowed. I think this is one of those games where I don't think you were there, Andrew, but Xbox is starting to do. It's called like a developer direct. Where they did it with Starfield, but the last time they did it, it was like, here's like 3 games. So like they talked about or 4 games in the last one, which was in January, which is like, okay, we talked about Redfall, which we know how that turned out. We talked about Forza Motorsport, and they talked about that new Minecraft like kind of tactics strategy game. It came out earlier this year. And then they had like it's like, oh, and by the way, we got a surprise thing from Tango Gameworks that ended up being Hi-Fi Rush. So one of those. That's right. This is one of those where it's like, I feel most of these games that are slated for next year will show up in one of these directs sometime later. Sort of thing. Because like the Phil Spencer at Xbox said that they want to have like one big game a quarter type of thing, which is pretty exciting, to be honest, especially if you're in the Game Pass, or if you're just, if you're a guy that plays on Xbox. I think it's exciting to have a good, or well, we'll have to see about the quality, but a big game every quarter is nice instead of nothing. Because but we'll see. Then Waves, what do you think?
I'm not a big Senua Saga person, so this one didn't.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I wasn't for a while until I played it. It's one of those that, like, if I probably paid the $60 when it came out, I'd probably be like, oh, come on, man, really? But it was one of those, like, oh, it's on Game Pass, sure, I'll play it. It's like, oh, damn, this isn't so bad, but...
Yeah, you might as well give it a crack, right? I mean, that's the beauty of the Game Pass. I am Game Pass lover. I love Game Pass.
Huge shills here. Huge shills.
I've got an Xbox tattoo on my left cheek. I've got a Game Pass tramp stamp. I've got,
What?
I'm all in. Bill Gates on my right cheek.
Alrighty, let's move on, because we still got more crap to go through. Good stuff anyways. Ooh, the other Like a Dragon game that Waves mistakenly thought about earlier.
Nakey game.
Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, which is basically Yakuza 8. This is the continuation of Ichiban Saga. And we didn't really get a whole lot about it. We got less than the Kazuma game, where we kind of know what's kind of going on, whatever. This one, we have no idea. They have no clue what's going on because what happened? Ichiban, in typical Ichiban fashion, woke up on a beach, completely buck-ass naked, and not understanding that he was new, going like, "Oh, those, what the hell's going on?" Looking around, everybody going, "What the heck?" And being comical about it, where like, walking towards the camera, and it's like, "Oh, blocked by a piece of pineapple, like a pina colada." And they grabs a pina colada, and it's like a lotion bottle, like covering him up. Very silly, very goofy, very very Ichiban trailer. If you've played 7, very typical. And then it ends with him finding out that he's naked, and then going, "What? No!" And then the camera pans back in a very Yakuza fashion. But this one, the interesting thing about this one is that this one might take place. People are theorizing Hawaii. So this will be the first Yakuza game that's outside of Japan, which might be really, really interesting. I think they don't really do it, which I wish they do. There's tons and tons and tons of Japanese like fish out of water stories, but they never adapted into anything. There was like my ex-girlfriend. She had like so many fish out of water stories, like having gone to the college and Lethbridge and stuff like that. And so it's like, and they were always like usually pretty funny. So it's like, can we get a game about that? And then with the heightened ridiculousness of Yakuza. So, Andrew, we're throwing it your way. What you think about Infinite Wealth?
Yeah, no, the trailer show and the comedic camera angles hiding his hiding the stuff.
It was
fun. It was Johnson, his sausage. And what's a sausage among friends, eh? It was a very funny and entertaining trailer. But again, not a whole lot beyond, just the comedic tone they're trying to go for, and him being lost in the U.S. now. So no, it'll be it'll be a fun thing to watch you go through.
Yeah, watch
I
me
think.
play through. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like you and Seo and another friend of ours on the server, Seo especially, I think you pretty much watched me play through the entire game.
Yeah.
Like I streamed quite a bit of that.
That's for sure.
But yeah, no, that'll be another fun one to play. I love the first one, so that's that. Waves, what do you think of Naked Man?
I think it looks funny. I might give that a crack. It looks cool. Like I said, I'm not a big. I've never really played a ton of Yakuza games and whatnot, but it had a good presentation. I might have to give that one a crack.
That one, this character, because he's like the new character basically going forward. So you could play his game, which is 7, aka Like a Dragon, which I think is on Game Pass. If not, you can get it cheap. Sega's pretty good with sales, in my opinion. But it's like, yeah, it's a different. You don't need to know like what happened in the prior Yakuza games to play. So it's a good place to start if you want to do that. Or start with 0, which is also another great place to start. And it's in the 80s. But yeah, no, it's more Yakuza. Just give it to me on a plate. Serve it with a smile, and I'll play it up. Not sure if it's a Game Pass game though, so I'm curious. The last one, Yakuza 7 was, which is a big title. But it didn't say Game Pass, so we'll see. If it's not, I won't be too upset because I'll play it anyways, but we'll see how it goes. Any closing thoughts, fellas?
No.
Andrew?
I can't wait to see more.
Yeah, okay. This one's probably going to be super short because the trailer was also super short and everybody's like, who cares? Okay. Yeah, like there's cool part. Okay, this is for Forza. Forza Motorsport. 5, I think. 6, 7. I don't know. 8.
Let's see. They released 4, 5 Horizons. The last Forza Motorsport mainline was 6, 5, 6. So it's technically Forza 7. I guess they're rebooting it. I don't know. It needs a reboot because Horizon really showed what you could do with the Forza format and just motorsport in general. Again, giving people something to do other than just race in a racing game to keep people on there, to keep them engaged. I'll see what Forza has to bring. It's gotta bring some heat because Horizon raised the fucking bar. Horizon had Forza Motorsport's more track. compared to off-road and all the crazy stuff they have in Horizon. But Horizon changed the game a little bit. It's definitely going to have a lot more customization, driver customization, things to do. They're not going to have an issue with the car and track lineup, but it's a Game Pass game. I'm excited. I'll probably give it a shot just to see what they've added to it, because it's been a long time since just a straight up Forza game has been really popped out with focus. I think if they did release a 6, they kind of did it alongside 3 or 4 Horizon, so it wasn't like the main focus. But now it is. I'm interested.
Yeah, this is one of those where, like, I've heard from Keighley, our resident motorsport guy, Forza guy, says Horizon's like way more arcadey, and then Forza Motorsport is more like the simulation racing.
Kind of. You can make it simmy. It's still technically kind of like what I call baby's first racing game, where it's like it's still a bit more casual and it allows more casual players to hop on, but you can certainly put in a wheel, make it really simulatory, and it scratches that GT itch, because you've got the F1 games and stuff which try to push simulator and whatnot, and then Assetto Corsa and all those things, but those are more simulator. This is definitely more of the crowd, especially considering it was the console racing game. It's definitely a bit more casually focused, but you can still make it simulator-esque.
Okay. Anyway, wow, Keighley, if you're listening to this, I'm gonna put you on blast on a public forum, and in a way that you have no way to respond or otherwise defend yourself, and you lied to me. Said this was a simulation game, and it's not. You're in big trouble, mister. You're grounded, mister.
I've never considered Forza simulation.
Anyway, Andrew, what do you think?
Racing game.
Yeah, it's kind of close. That's kind of where I'm at. Where it's like, yeah, I will say one thing. God, this game looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
This game looks gorgeous.
It does have that
the
going for
graphics
it.
on the Forza games. And they know how to do compression, because like Forza Horizon 4 and all the Horizons have all this outdoor scenery and stuff, but it never compromises both graphics fidelity or gameplay fidelity to get you both. Like, you're getting good graphics and frame rate even on consoles for the most part at the same time. It's really cool. I don't know what they do, whether it's a certain type of file compression or just the way they structure their game, but it runs really good.
Yeah, like it's
despite the visuals.
Yeah, like I saw just all the trailers for it, and every time it's like, man, it looks great how the ray tracing in it works, and it's like, one of those games where, especially like with automobiles, it's a really great way to like technically show off what your engine or like your graphics can do.
Yep.
And so like, yeah, it looks great. I saw the latest Horizon. It's like in Mexico or something like that. I've seen some screens of that, and it's just like, wow, it just looks gorgeous. So it's one of those.
And the other one was the Scottish Highlands. I mean, they pick great sceneries for the Horizon games and stuff. Again, and the graphics. I mean, you want the cars to just look as clean and gorgeous as possible in these games. So they do a great job of that, and they give a ton of customization too. You can do all sorts of wacky stuff, make your own skins for the cars.
Interesting. No, I'll have to prime along. It's part of Game Pass, so I'll probably give it a try. But yeah, no, that's pretty much all I have to say. Andrew, you got anything more?
No, not really. I think like the last racing simulator, or really racing game in general I played, was Gran Turismo 4 on the PS2, and I mean like that was fun, but yeah, it's not usually my thing.
Yeah, if you're not a car guy, it's kind of like.
You're gonna be in the mood for it. I'm not a car guy per se, but I do like racing. So if I'm in a racing mood, I'll definitely hop on.
Say like, yeah, I'm not a huge car guy. I do like automobiles, and I do have like preferences and some mechanical like inkling, but not like I'm not a car guy for sure. Which is probably why I haven't gotten into racing. Granted, the few times that I have been like in a VR headset with a wheel at my one buddy's place, that's like the closest I've been. Like, okay, I'm gonna dive deep into this, but thankfully for my wallet, I didn't. So I think we'll leave it at that. So next one. Guess we gotta move along. Next one, Persona 5 Tactica. in a game where they kept the entire cast because, they're still around and they're not dead or old. And, it'd be weird if they changed the cast. We got another Persona 5 spin-off, and this time it's a tactics game. So it seems you go into some weird world or palace where you have to, cause a revolution against the French, or a stylized version of the French. And so, it's Persona. It's a Persona spin-off with all the bells and whistles that it does. So it visually looks fantastic. It's more like a chibi sort of game, almost like the Persona Q games. Not quite like that, but very similar to that. Kind of like cuter aesthetic. I've always kind of thought that Persona could make a really cool tactics game, where it showed like on the trailer where it's like if you surround the enemy, that's how you can do like your all-out attacks and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think it looks pretty cool. Not as cool as Persona 3 Remake, but that's, one is the main course, the other one's the dessert. So, what do you think, Andrew?
It was reminding me of the Persona Q titles as far as the art style went, with that whole chibi aesthetic. It is an interesting direction to go with the whole tactics squad-based thing, not unlike XCOM. So that'll be something that I think I will be looking into when it gets released, because on occasion I get that whole squad-based tactical itch. Every now and then I'll install XCOM or XCOM 2 and I'll do a run through. So that'll be one that I know.
Play better ones. Play Mechanicus. Mechanicus is way better than XCOM. It whoops its ass.
That's fair.
Play Demon Hunters. That one whoops XCOM's ass as well, in my opinion.
That's the Warhammer Grey Knights one, right?
And then Mechanicus is the Warhammer Mechanicus one. Shocking, I know.
Obviously.
But Waves, what do you think?
Like I said before,
another Persona game.
I've never really tuned in hard to. Yeah, another Persona game. I'm not a big tactical game person. Like, I never really played XCOM or anything.
Don't play XCOM. There's better tactics games.
I just tactics games aren't really my thing. I say with 2,000 hours on Football Manager, which you could argue is. But yeah, I mean, not much to say for me. Not my style of game.
Yeah. It's another Persona game. It's like another spin-off, so it looks good. Looks cute. It's like, I don't know how to explain this to the audience. Like, Andrew is kind of in the same boat with me, where it's like, it's Persona, I'll eat it up.
Yeah.
Like, just, I'll play it.
Yeah, we're there. We're at that point.
We know what we're getting. We know what we want. I'll just play it. I'll eat it up. And it's another Game Pass game. And this one's coming out this year. I think it's like in November. Like November 17th or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
So like this one's coming out this year. And then Persona 3 is coming out early next year. Which is like, oh my god. Gonna be a busy year next year as well. And a busy end of the year this year, which hurts me and my wallet. But thankfully Game Pass will alleviate a lot of that. But got anything more to say about this one, fellas? Andrew?
No, we've said enough. Well, I've said enough. I don't know if you have anything else.
No, we got enough, I think. I think there's not a whole lot to say, to be honest. It's just, it is what it is, and it looks good, and I'll play it, and I'll eat it, and I'll have a smile on my face. But, moving on, Still Wakes the Deep. This one is like, it's like I think it's supposed to be a horror game. It wasn't quite really well shown that way.
That's what they have it listed as.
Oh, it is? Okay, then that'd be interesting. It's developed by the China Room, or the Chinese Room, or something like that. They're the guys who did
the China
they developed Dear Esther, which is a good walking sim. And then they also developed Amnesia, A Machine for Pigs, where one of those games where like the narrative was good, but the gameplay was really lacking because it just wasn't scary. There was like no enemies, no real puzzle solving, that sort of stuff. And so I don't know what they've done since then, but this is set in an offshore oil platform with some sort of disaster going on. I don't know if it's supernatural in nature or like, there's some sort of monster or something coming after you or whatever, but you're dealing with this oil platform that's destroying itself. It's basically like falling apart. And that just enough because I really like a lot of aquatic settings. And I think there's a lot of, especially with the ocean, there's a lot of spooky stuff you can do with it. And so, especially the isolation of an oil platform and all that. So they didn't really show a whole lot, but what was there
I think it looks interesting.
Enough for me, and I think it's another Game Pass game, so it's another why not. So, if you'll notice, this will be a recurring pattern amongst the rest of the game. It's like, why not? If you think it's interesting, why not? So, Waves, what do you think about it?
The setting and everything really looks interesting. I loved the original Amnesia, the first Amnesia game. The ones since then are fine. I mean, they just kind of do the same thing over and over again. This is a studio that makes a lot of walking sim games. I'm hoping this will be a bit more active in terms of gameplay. I'm hoping, I don't know. It's a Game Pass game, so might as well. But at the same time, they've got, I'm not going to say an iffy track record because it's not like their previous games were necessarily awful. But I'm wanting more, and if it doesn't deliver, then I'll be a bit disappointed. That's really about it. Yeah. I mean, it looks cool. That's about it.
Neat concept, and we'll see how it goes. See how spooky it is, but yeah, that's pretty much what I gotta say. I really like Soma, and that's developed by Frictional Games, which made the original Amnesia, but that was another deep sea underwater game that was pretty spooky. And I like the narrative in it quite a bit. But Andrew, what do you think? Putting the blankets over your head.
Yeah, exactly. Now, when we were watching the trailer for this one, you said that it was going to likely draw gameplay elements from the Amnesia. Now, you didn't have exactly a glowing opinion of Amnesia, if I recall correctly.
No, I think the first Amnesia, when it came out, I really did like it, and I still really do like it.
Okay.
It was interesting, it was neat, like in an era, I think it was 2007, 2008. I might be wrong. Might be dead wrong. But
I think it was a little later than that.
Amnesia, The Dark Descent. 2010.
But it was different.
2010. Okay, so a little bit later, but but when that came out, it was something different. It was very and one thing I do like about Frictional's games is that they have like a lot of physicality to them. So like when you're pulling drawers open, you're like looking at you're opening doors that way. And it's in that regard, there's like a physicality to it that's really interesting. And it came during a time where most of horror was like a survival horror where you're fighting against enemies and stuff like that. So this one's like, okay, you can't fight back. You have to hide. You have to do this. You have to do whatever. My main problem is that when you figure out that hiding works every single time, it's not scary anymore. That's my main problem with it. The thing with Amnesia: The Dark Descent is that it had so much more carrying it that it's like, you know what? I don't care that you're not even that scary anymore. This setting and everything else around it and the story is really cool, so I like it. A Machine for Pigs is the problem where it's like, okay, this isn't scary because it's not even just like, oh, I could do, it's just very linear, very very sort of if you do what you're supposed to do, you're never going to die. You're just going to keep going forward. Not going to get spooked. So it's that way. But the story narrative was really good. Amnesia Rebirth, I got problems with, and I haven't played The Bunker yet. So I'll get to that eventually, but I've heard good things about that one. But with this one, it's one of those where I am interested because just because I have problems with the gameplay philosophy doesn't necessarily they can't make it good. So we'll see how it goes. But I do think that there's enough novel elements into it that can make it interesting. But anyway, I hope that answered some of your questions, but keep going.
Yeah, no, well, for me personally, it'll just be like another another horror title. But one thing that I'll likely watch when you guys are playing it, but probably not one that I'd get myself, even if I had Game Pass. So
yeah,
no, it is what it is for me.
No, that's fair enough. Not everybody. If we all like the same thing, one, this video would be like 3 times as long, and two, it'd be like, yeah, we like it. It'd be those like soy jacks or whatever, all cheering in unison. That's like, yeah, basically. So, moving on. Here we go. Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom TUMB Liberty. This is the much long awaited, DLC or expansion for Cyberpunk 2077. They came out all the way in 2020, I think, or 20. Oh my god, it's already been since 2020. But Cyberpunk came out in all the way a couple years back, or maybe it's 2021. Let me check. I have to check, or else I'll be upset. Cyberpunk Edge Runners, no, is a 2020 action role-playing video game. There we go. So yeah, already been quite a few years, but so this is the much long-awaited expansion for this game. And originally, like I kind of had written, I played my Cyberpunk. I played it at not the best frame rate, not the best, quality, so to speak. And on top of that, it had bugs and problems and things like that. I had mostly glitches instead of bugs, so I don't really have much to complain about, except for, the glitches that happened to me were all mostly funny. Like, you riding your motorbike and then you go T-posing and you like turn naked. Like, that's so funny. It is so funny, to the point that I actually argued that if Cyberpunk didn't have those funny glitches, I don't think it'd be as interesting.
It's their own Bethesda jank.
Yeah. Most of my problems with Cyberpunk are like gameplay design issues. It's got like nothing to do with the bugs. It's got nothing to do with the glitches. It's got to do with more. You're known for these like more tighter experiences in The Witcher 1 and The Witcher 2. And now here you got your GTA game. Like, it feels unfocused. Mm-hmm. It feels like I don't really know what they're going with it. Like the main narrative I didn't really care for, because it's like the idea when you're a cyberpunk, you're a nobody. You're a friggin' nobody. So to within the first like couple hours of the game, see basically the emperor of the known planet in Saboru or Arasaka is so stupid. It's like, this is not Cyberpunk. Like having Johnny Silver come, be in your head and be your, I don't know, your tulpa that shows up every couple minutes to say how big his cock is. Like, this isn't Cyberpunk. This isn't like the idea of Cyberpunk. And that's kind of my problems. A lot of the side stories were really good. And that's where honestly I had the most enjoyment, was in the side stories and like those quest lines that were really, really good. And also in the world design. The game has exquisite world design. Cool cars, cool aesthetic, cool buildings, like exquisite like radio that they made their own music for. It's just incredible.
Yeah, the making of their own music was insane. Like the quality of it is really good for like in-house music for a video game like this.
And it had something for everybody. Like, the one black metal station on there is so great. The shitty reggaeton station is really great as well. I love it. But,
And I never really processed a kind of a setting clash with what you said with the story and the setting Cyberpunk and you being... I really like it, though, that you're kind of like this, I don't know, criminal celebrity. I really enjoyed the main story and the side stories. But I do think that's a fair criticism in the fact that the setting and the name does kind of clash with the story.
It's just kind of like, it's more like a nitpick, but when it's a big part of your game, it kind of gets bigger than a nitpick. But seeing this trailer, it seems to maybe not solve, I don't know big or how small it is or whatever. It looks like to me, they put the scope is narrower and it's a more like polished, maybe not linear, but like a more polished like expansion where like this is the narrative that we're going for, this is what's happening. This is kind of like, you know, maybe not cinematic as a sense, but just like they toned down the scope is what it looks like. And so at first I was like, whatever. See the trailer, it looks like it's toned down in scope. And 2, this is a direct continuation from the end of the game. And so now it's like, okay, because I did like V. I did like V and his story. And so it's like, you know, it's like, okay, now I'm interested. And then they said, oh, here's all these other fixes and gameplay tweaks and stuff like that, where it's almost better if you start from scratch. So it's one of those where when it comes out, I'll probably play it and I'll start from scratch.
That and the fact that it's like a content update as well, is it not?
Yeah, so much so that like, they're
so
changing quite a bit.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's another aspect of it that's gotten me really excited is the fact that they seem to have put a lot of work and care into it.
So apparently this is what the game should have been, like with a lot of the changes that they put in, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I don't know. Waves, what do you think?
I'm excited. I mean, I loved Cyberpunk. I thought it was great, even with, you know, the buggy launch and whatnot and performance issues. I trudged through it. And this expansion's giving me a whole nother reason to either pick up a copy on PC, because I have it on Xbox. I really don't want to play it on Xbox. I want to play it on my computer that can run it. I'll probably, original 2013.
Yeah, that's
2013 Xbox One.
That must have been rough.
It's like the no guy who played it on PS4. And I'm like, I am so sorry.
Yes. I still trudge through it because I like the story and the world building. I think I'm about to buy it again because you can buy it as like a bundle. I think the whole thing together $60, Cyberpunk base game and the upcoming expansion. I might have to pull the trigger on that, get a save going, play through the story again to get myself ready for this new DLC. I'm hyped for it. I'm really excited. I mean, I just can't keep saying anything but that. I'm just excited.
No, it looks good. And it's like, so much so that me, a guy who's like, I enjoyed it, but I have my problems with it. But it's like, okay, 1, this seems to solve quite a bit of my problems. And 2, the narrative is like way up more at my alley. So it's one of those where like, it might be in the middle. The problem is that it's coming out in September 20-something, 26, I think. And it's like, bro, you're releasing in Starfield month. So I'm sorry. It might be a while till I get to you, but I will get to you. Andrew, what do you think?
Like for Cyberpunk in general, like I didn't my opinion was very, very much affected by everyone's kind of outrage following its very troubled release. So even though it's had a bunch of these fixes and people are somehow finding enjoyment out of it from that anime, it's another one. It's another one of those things.
We don't talk about that anime.
Okay,
we're not going to talk about it.
We don't talk about the.
No, I think it's trash.
Yeah.
The visuals are cool. I've never watched it, but my buddy likes it.
After we're done, show you like this is like really people like this trash. But anyway, keep going, Andrew.
Yeah, no, there's really isn't much more for me to say. I mean, I'm glad that people are now finding enjoyment with the game, and it's made a ton of improvements, and it's now kind of at a state where it's relatively close to what they had originally intended. But it'll be another one of those things where it's like
too little, too late on your end.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I get that.
No, that's completely fair. Like, cause I was in that same boat for a long time, and now it's like I saw this trailer. I'm like, you know what? Okay, sure. I'll take a bite in. I'll give it another chance, see what's up. But I could also see, for the people that it's like, no, especially with what's coming out right around it. I wouldn't even be surprised. But we got anything more to say about this one?
Not me.
No, not really.
Yeah, I think
I'm excited.
Pretty much, we said our piece. All right, next one. Probably another short one, I think, as well. Cities Skylines II. So, people that don't know, City Skyline is a city builder game where you make a city and you make the infrastructure and you do all this boring stuff that I figure city planners do, and somehow. So.
Oh, and do they fuck up?
And so,
I mean, I like City Skylines 1. I don't really know if there's a need for a sequel. And on top of that, they're going to be charging everyone out the ass like they love to do with those games.
It's a Paradox game.
Yeah, I like it. It's on the Game Pass. I'll probably give it a shot. Not really a ton to say. I think. I mean, it's cool. It's a city building game. If that's up your alley, then go for it. I think you'll enjoy it. But other than that, I still question if they really need to make a second game. It's kind of like if they dropped like a Hearts of Iron 5 or EU5 right now when they already are still releasing content. I feel like it's more of a cash grab than anything.
Boy. Andrew, what do you think?
This is one of those things where I kind of wish like Mike could have joined us, because this is more
That's him,
up
yeah.
his alley.
That is
like
him.
I know he was excited for this when the Paradox thing happened.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I wish Michael
now
was
that
here.
they actually
I'm
have
kinda
like
glad he
gameplay to
isn't
talk
because
about.
it's
Yeah.
already so long, but
Yeah.
oh well.
Well, we knew that going in. So
we know.
I'm a Paradox gamer. I still play EU4 and Hearts of Iron.
I am a recovering addict,
But
and don't really care for City Skylines. It's a cool game. I don't know why. I'm kind of the sort of guy that like, I want a city builder game where the city's already built and you pick the terrible policies to destroy it. Like, yeah, like SimCity, but it's like, okay, now we're gonna deal with drug policy. Okay, we're gonna take away, no bail, like bail reform. We're cutting that out, so nobody has to pay bail to get out. No like drugs, like just stuff to ruin the city. I think that'd be really funny, but apart from that, yeah, I kind of don't really care. And two, biggest, most important one, it's a Paradox game, and I am a recovering addict, and I said no. I said no, don't touch me. This thing is not for me. Yeah, don't touch me, Paradox. I'm not playing your game anymore. I'm saying no, sternly in a voice. You can't touch my wallet. But yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say. What about you fellas? Anything more?
No, that's about it, really.
Yeah, no, we've spoken our piece on this one.
Okay.
And we've talked about our recovering addiction to Paradox.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
some of us recovering addicts. Some of us are still
Some of
very
them,
much entrenched.
Some of them,
I love. I have matte painting autism.
some
I
of
love
them have, some of them have a nice T-shirt that it's like, I'm a God-loving crack addict. So, yeah, like and there's something to respect. Somebody that knows they have a problem and they continue anyways, and they know what they're getting into. It's like, you know what, I can respect that. So whatever. So, oh boy, getting into the final stretch here, which is nice. Next game, another game from Atlas, but from a different part of the studio from Atlas. A game called Metaphor ReFantazio, or ReFantazio, as some people would say. I don't care who you are. I'm gonna say ReFantazio because it sounds Italian, it sounds cool, and re means king, and fantazio is fantasy and in Esperanto. So I'm gonna say it like that, and I hope I start a bandwagon or something. But Metaphor ReFantazio, it looks like, I don't know, it looks like Persona and the Persona system, but in a fantasy world. So it's one of those where like it looks gorgeous, it's got the aesthetic, it's got the gameplay down, it probably has the story down. I will say, and I don't care if people call me a bigot for it, I don't really give a damn. If this was like, if they had an English dub, I'd probably be more interested. Because, I don't know, there's something about like, with video games especially. I don't know why. It's like with a lot of Japanese like media or film, Japanese animation, I could usually watch it in Japanese, no problem. Some I watch it in other languages because of either rose-tinted reasons or because I think the dub is better, but whatever. The games is one of those where it's like, I almost always like it better in English because it's like, I don't know if there's just more things to pay attention about or do, or like, it's just
You connect with it better, I think. You kind of pick it up easier.
But it's like Persona, I never played in Japanese. And there was that Persona Q2 that came out in the West, but it didn't have any English voice acting. So it's like, nah, I'm not playing it.
That's right.
It's like, nah, I'm not playing it. Even though it's got a whole cinema like motif, it's like, I don't care. I'm not gonna play it. Put English in it, and then I'll play it. And get it out of the 3DS. I'm friggin' psycho. But anyway, Andrew, what do you think of Metaphor ReFantazio?
You know what? It's interesting to see that they're going with a new IP.
Yes.
As opposed to another Shin Megami Tensei or Persona title. Not that to say that those are in any way unwelcome, because we'd be hypocrites if we said that. But it's good just to see them flex their creative muscles and do something else with their talented team. Exactly. And I am excited to see where they take how I know their characters are going to be well written, because they always write pretty well characters. So it'll be fun to see this new kind of more fantastical take on their previous work.
And it's directed by Sojima, so the guy who directed 3, 4, and 5, Persona 3, 4, and 5. 90% certain that Shogi Meguro is doing the soundtrack, so he's done the soundtrack for 3, 4, and 5. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a good game. By the time it comes out, we'll probably have an English dub on it. So I'll play it, and then I think it'll be good. I don't think it's a Game Pass game though. I did not see Game Pass at the end of this trailer, so it would I would not be surprised if it wasn't. But if it was, it would be nice, and sure, I'd play it. If not, and the couple trailers come out and it looks greater, then I might grab it at launch, but who knows. So, Waves, what do you think?
Not much for me to say on this one. I mean,
another JRPG, basically.
If it is a Game Pass game, I'll give it a shot, but other than that,
fair enough. Andrew, do you got any more?
No, it'll be fun to see what more news comes down the pipe.
Yeah. One final thing I have to say, I really like the title. Metaphor ReFantazio, I think is pretty cool. But I think
well, you're a little bit biased there, aren't you?
No, well, that's probably not even their intention, because in you see it online, it is ReFantazio, as one word instead of Re King space Fantazio. But that's just whatever. I think it's a cool title, anyways, and it's kind of hard to read though in the stylized version. I was like, what the hell? What is that? But anyway. Moving on, the penultimate one, because we got, after this one, the big one that you're all probably waiting for. Unless you're hearing this in chronological order, then you're probably already dead. But anyways, this is Clockwork Revolution. And this is In Exile's game that they've been working on in the background for quite a while now. In Exile, for the fellows that don't know out there, are they're the guys who basically they were an off team that spun off from Black Isle Studios. That they were the ones who directed and developed the original Fallout 1, Fallout 2, Fallout Tactics, Fallout Brother Steel, but we don't talk about that one. Big one for me, Fallout 1 and 2 are big ones for me, but this one's super big for me. Planescape Torment is a big one. And so they went and made their own studio, and they made the Wasteland games. So they made Wasteland 2, which is and then Wasteland 3 that I've heard is actually really good. So I have it downloaded and I'll have to play sometime. But that's
co-op. We should play it.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, I have it on Game Pass, but if it's cheap on PC, I might grab it, or on Steam, I might grab it on there. Yeah, we'll have to.
It should be by this point.
Yeah, at this point, exactly. But this is them going from top-down isometric CRPG to a first-person shooter, but RPG still. But this is set in, it's called Avalon or something like that. Basically, Victorian steampunk sort of England that a lot of people have been comparing it to BioShock Infinite, which I think it's okay, fair enough, but also I think it's kind of unfair because one game doesn't get to take a whole design motif. I think it's kind of silly, but that's how it is. I think the game, this is a pre-alpha one, so this is a super vertical slice. We didn't get a release date on it either, but the aesthetic of the setting, it looks pretty cool. Like I'm like BioShock Infinite. This one looks pretty cool as well. Like very, that sort of like steampunk, but not so lame. Like more interesting. It's like they actually go back and into that time, into the 1890s, and go like, or 1912s, and like, you know what? Actually, we could actually make this look way better instead of like, it's like, sir. It's like your top hat with gears on it, idiot. So, I think it looks cool. The big mechanic is time. So you'll be heading in and out of time to fix problems or cause even bigger problems. And at first I was kind of like, it's like, okay, sure, I'll play it as a Game Pass or whatever. Then they came out and said, it's like, no. This is a shooter, but this is a full RPG. This is like a full, like, you know, like it's got a lot of the systems that they're going to have. It has like choice and dialogue is a big part of it. So you going in between the future and the past, and how your decisions and quest will, at least in theory, affect the world. So that really kind of that really interests me. So I'm curious to see where it goes. I know this one's pretty far out from what I've heard, in release wise. So we'll see how it goes. Waves, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those games. I'll give it a shot, but another one of those where I'm just, you know, it's all right. I'll take it. It looks cool. I like good art. I like good styles.
Yeah,
I think
apart from that, they didn't show much.
Promising,
So it's one of those, they'll show it off in time, but it looks really interesting. So we'll see. Andrew, what do you think?
For Clockwork Revolution, I'm not gonna lie, Tom. When you originally introduced it to me, you were saying how it was like supposed to be like this fantasy Industrial Revolution, kind of in the same vein as Arcanum. So I was kind of expecting like an asymmetric RPG.
That's what the leaks were. That's where I didn't know it was supposed to be CRPG, or sorry, not or shooter. I thought it was supposed to be CRPG.
Yes.
So
yeah, so when it looked more like BioShock Infinite, I was kind of a little bummed out. But you know, the concept is still pretty interesting, so we'll see.
Not in.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, that's really it for me.
Well, that's just it. It's like, when you release that and they say it's pre-alpha, and it's like, when's it coming out? In due time. And it's like, haha, real cheeky. But yeah, it'll take a while. Shout out to that guy that is like walking on the suspended carpet so he doesn't have to touch the ground. And he's got like the two robots like rolling this carpet like continuously so he doesn't have to step on the ground. Shout out to that guy. That seems like the Tom in this setting. Oh boy. Anything more to say on this one, fellas?
Yeah, no, not really.
Okay, no worries. Well, then we can move into the final game that we're going to talk about. The one that pretty much everybody's been waiting for. And we kind of really all know our opinions on it. Todd Howard's latest game, masterpiece, some would believe. I'm kind of semi-inclined to believe, but we don't know until we get the game. This is, of course, Starfield, the first original IP from Bethesda in well over 25 years. Set in, I think it's a couple centuries from now, but set in space, and it follows, I guess, like a miner who, not that kind of miner, okay? A guy.
It's exactly the joke that was on the tip of my tongue.
A kind of guy working in a mine that discovers some sort of artifact that gives him a vision. That to me is like, hey, that's kind of like Mass Effect, whatever. Goes to this society called Constellation that's all about figuring out the mysteries of the universe and where we came from. And then from there, opens up into what Todd Howard would want you to believe to be a galaxy of possibilities. And so, this is one of those fellas, it is so big, I don't even know where to start with the discussion about it. This was the one...
I'm excited. That's what we're starting with it. I'm fucking ready.
This is the one that had the direct. So this was This thing was 2 hours long. So like the entire showcase and direct. That was the Xbox showcase, like in direct. It was 2 hours long. This showcase, this direct part of it, just for Starfield, was 45-minute long, fellas. And you'd think, oh my god, 45 minutes of this crap? No. Every time there was something in this showcase, or this direct, that we're doing, and there was like, damn, that's pretty cool. It'd be cool if you could do this, and then the next thing was that. When you're watching the ship, and I'm like, damn, it'd be kind of cool if you could like divert power and like shoot the different systems to make them shoot down. Yeah, you can do that. It's like, oh, they're doing the settlement.
Yeah, that would look pretty neat.
They're doing the settlement building stuff or whatever. And it's like, yeah, okay, that's cool from Fallout or whatever. But it'd be kind of cool if you could like pull back the camera and then just do drag and click. And it's like, yeah, you can pull back the camera and do drag and click. And it's like, oh my god. It's like, oh man, that ship's kind of cool. It's like, it'd be kind of neat if you could like dock with it and shoot. And I was like, oh, you could dock with it and shoot the people inside. So it's... yeah, I don't even know where to start. I'm going to start and say that this is, as of last year, and still is because of the idea and what it can be, this is still my most anticipated game of this year. And after this direct, it did. Still going to try and get into it with as tempered expectations as I can. But there is no deny I am excited for this one. I'm excited to see what Bethesda GameWorks has been working on for a long time. I'm excited to see that this is the game that Todd has been wanting to make. The dream game that he's wanting to make. Forever, basically. And when he pulls out the influences that he's talking about, it's like, yeah, sign me up. But, Andrew, yeah, you go ahead first. And yeah, say something.
I have been the most... I guess staunch skeptic for Starfield.
And that's good. We need skeptics.
We need wranglers because I'm the apologist. I'm the one that's like, I can look at it. I can still be disappointed. This is the part people don't understand. Like, I'm still disappointed in Fallout 4 and Skyrim. That being said, though, the shade that they throw at one guy in particular who's part of a whole company, and to me it's irksome, because it's like, no, I understand what he meant. I didn't like it, but I understand what he meant. People act stupid. Like, I'm always gonna bring this one up, and I'm always gonna do it, because people are dumb. It's like 16 times the detail. People was like, well, it didn't look like it was 16 times the detail. And I'm like, listen, asshole, listen. It's this simple. If you would have listened to what he had to say, you would understand. They increased the average texture size by 4. You know what they also increased? They increased the map. It's 4 times larger than Fallout 4. That is, by definition, what's 4 times 4? 16.
8. Oh wait, yeah, 16.
Yeah,
shit.
This is what I'm talking about, folks. What I'm talking about. 16 times the detail. It is quite literally that. But because they didn't see, wow, but this isn't The Last of Us. Damn, this game doesn't look as good. And it's like, and there's so many other things you could argue or
look at the adoring fan. Why is he not 4K hyper-realistic graphics?
Like, it's with that, and it's just like, it's like, did you ignore the rest of the damn direct?
Who cares?
Did you ignore the rest of what they were talking about? Like,
now, I will say, I think a lot of the skepticism from Starfield comes from No Man's Sky. I think No Man's Sky and its consequences have kind of tainted sci-fi games and gaming in general, because No Man's Sky was probably the biggest one that way overpromised. Looking at you as well, Cyberpunk, but you get a pass because the game was actually pretty good. Because people are like, oh, he's promising all this stuff, and I get it. No Man's Sky and Fallout 4. Trust me, as a Fallout fan,
the difference is that he showed it. He showed it in the direct. Anyway, keep going, Andrew. You're the skeptic. And
no. Well, like, you've already sort of touched upon my case with the whole Fallout 4 thing, because like, I know Bethesda can like make good games and write well. It's just in recent history we haven't seen a lot of evidence of that. So that's why, like, when people are hyping Starfield so much, like, I'm just worried that that they're gonna be a little bummed out by its when it's inevitably released, because, like, from what I gathered from its original gameplay reveals was that it was essentially
nasty.
It was essentially just Minecraft in space or a No Man's Sky. And sure, they had some cool elements like the whole the ship editor, and then of course the base builder was brought back. But again, it was just more of the same. So, having seen this new gameplay reveal, I am a little bit more on the side of I am more in a positive camp now, but I still am trying to temper my expectations as much as I can, because I'd
really
rather.
Should.
Yeah,
it's difficult.
Exactly.
Because it's like I'm going into it excited. I haven't hyped anything up since the Phantom Pain, and that's why I haven't hyped anything up since.
You were burned by that one.
I was burned bad.
I got my hopes up once. Once. Never again.
And stuff like that. So, like, I'm tempering my expectations as best as I can. I know it's going to be buggy as hell. I know it's going to be a Bethesda game. The thing is that I will say, there are times when not so much is okay, because you should set the standard to not.
Yeah.
When your game is at a certain scope, though, I think it's understandable. When the game is at this scope, I think that's okay. And the thing is that, like, you take Fallout 4 or you take Skyrim, for instance, apart from the PS3 Skyrim, which, like, that should have not been released on that system. Like, it was bad. But if you take those games now compared to some of the launches this year and last year, those launches are less buggy and less disastrous than the ones we see now. There are games like Jedi Survivor is a great one, where, like, it's a great game after it was fixed. Before I was fixed, Henry, you were here. You heard me what I had to say. It was unacceptable.
Yes, I know. Your aphorism, the picture book aphorism.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
57 days.
Like, that is unacceptable.
Oh my
unacceptable
God.
Level of unoptimized and broken and buggy. Unacceptable. Skyrim, when it released, and I was there, I remember 11/11/11 was fine. Skyrim, when it came out, it's like October 23rd, 2015, I think. I was there when it came out, and it was fine. It was buggy? Yeah, every Bethesda game is buggy. Was it glitchy? Yeah, but that's kind of the jank that we kind of like about it, depending on who you are. Like, I'm playing Fallout 3 right now, and you shoot somebody, and he's so overpowered that, like, he goes flying into the sky. And they even, like, in Starfield, they kind of, like, play with that. Where, like, it's the one guy who's, like, has the punching build or whatever. And it, like, uppercut punches him in low gravity. He's like, ah! Flies away. So, like, they know what they're doing. My point is that, like, their buggy games now, like, the stuff they released that was buggy, that was unacceptable to people, I think is absurd, is less buggy than the crap we get nowadays. So it's one of those that, like, you have to look at the game, you have to look at what the actual bugs are going to be, and the scope. Scope is a big one. If it is, how big it is. And the kind of procedural generation technology that they're getting into it, which is really, from what I've read and it was described, they procedurally generate like 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer tiles on the planet, but then they have handcrafted locations that they've built that have quests in them, and then they put them on those, like, tiles. So, like, that's how the content's going to work. And then there's planets where the both are developed at the same time, sort of thing. So it's big, but at the same time, like, people do have to temper their expectations. When I say 1,000 planets, I do think that's, like, that is a huge number, a ridiculous number. If you're any kind of sane person, you would understand that you're not going to be looking at that and going, damn, there's going to be a handcrafted Dark Brotherhood quest on every single one of these planets. Like, no, you stupid idiot.
No.
Like, that's not how it's going to work. But just looking at even stuff like they talked about, like the amount of dialogue that's in this game. It's like there is 4 times, I think it's 4 times the dialogue from Fallout 4 to this game. And so that's a big deal. Like just in and of itself. But to put it in perspective, fellas, you have to understand if like the dialogue in Fallout 4 is like, say, like, I don't know, like 100,000 lines or something like that. This one's like 500,000, something like that. If like the lines are that, how many of the lines are your player character lines? Probably about half, to be honest.
Yeah.
Probably be about half.
And especially if they're including all the variation that they've advertised with the different backgrounds.
Those are lines. Mm-mm. So that's dialogue, like spoken dialogue. Starfield has 4 times that and no voice protagonist. How much more dialogue is that? An incredible amount. So, like, I believe in their scope, I believe in their scale, and I believe that there are enough things for me that I'm going to enjoy to be in it. And even if it's like, if Starfield is 10 bullet points and they get me even half of those right, it still will be like a great game, I think, in my opinion. But we'll have to see when it releases, which is just a few months away. But it looks great. It's one of the first games that I have, and then I gotta temper my expectation, but it looks like it's bringing back the wonder in games. Games haven't had that wonder for me in a long time, which is fine because I've played so much and I've gotten older. This is one of those that's like, holy crap, what really is out there? What's the story? Like that's when there's like, you know, they talk about the factions and it's just like, you could be part of the space government, or you could be part of, you know, the space sheriffs, you know, and, you know, he's the sheriff, you know, where's the caveman? He's the sheriff. You could be that. You could be part of like a literal serpent cult. You could be part of, you know, like the pirates, basically, the Crimson Fleet, I think they're called. And then there's like, it's called like the Red Mile or something like that, which is like this like stingy criminal like underworld elitist thing that was like they only showed that for like 30 seconds and I'm like, what the hell is that? I want to know what that is. That's what they did in this trailer, which is like, oh, what the hell is that? I want to know that. Like just little details that Bethesda's known for, because like people don't understand like how technically impressive those games are, because like if I go into a box and I pick up a piece of cheese, I pick up a sandwich and I drop it, the game remembers that. Where if I go to another part of the map and I hang out hours, 10, 20 hours, and then I come back to that location, that sandwich will still be there on the floor where I left it. Like that is an incredible amount of like logging and scripting that other games just don't have. And I think, you know, if you don't care about that, then that's understandable. But to say that these games aren't technically impressive, I think is really disingenuous and really like kind of absurd. But no, that's kind of I don't know, my other piece I gotta say for it. You guys got anything more to say?
No, that's about it. I'm excited, cautiously optimistic, but I'm ready. I've been needing a new IP, and this looks like
Andrew?
Well, I'm glad you guys have a bit more of an optimistic outlook about it.
You are so cynical, it's not even funny. You can't even... I don't blame him. But you don't see any of the stuff that was shown at the Direct and go, damn. If half of this,
I do.
Even if half of this is like broken, you wouldn't think, damn, this is probably going to be a good game.
No, honestly, if even half of the stuff they showcased in the trailer makes it in, that would be a lot better than what I originally thought going forward. So
Star Citizen on suicide watch.
Oh my god. Oh Jesus.
They're on suicide watch.
Yeah, and you guys have nothing to worry about either because it's likely going to be on Game Pass. So
yeah,
you got that going for you.
This one I will unironically say I will probably be buying it a la carte from Steam because it's one of those like I know what kind of money I'm going to get into it. I know if you bought it on Game Pass though, or not bought it, got it as part of your subscription. That's an incredible amount of like value for money. In an incredible sense, but no, that one I'll probably be when I get my first paycheck here, I'll probably lock in.
Lock in.
I don't usually do pre-orders, but this one I'll pre-order because I know what I'm getting into. Or I'm gonna hate it, and I'll be so disappointed that I never play a video game ever again. Okay, that might be an over-exaggeration, but we'll see. But I think it's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be a stellar game. I think this is quite possibly Xbox's most important exclusive ever. They are in a point where people have to show, basically like Xbox you gotta prove to people, and people who play on console especially, why do I even have an Xbox? Why should I even buy an Xbox? And I think Starfield is gonna be I don't know, if this was a ship and you have that like champagne bottle, Starfield's gonna be that champagne bottle that cracks against the ship, and it's gonna be the start of these quarterly releases of AAA big games. And so I guess to continue, and this will go into my overall thoughts and score, where there is no exaggeration, and there's no kidding anybody. This one was the best showcase out of all of them.
Yeah.
By miles.
Bar none, hands down.
No comparison. Nobody even came close. And it's like, I'm looking at, the list for the other games and games that we talk about. There's a lot of games here that we talk about because they're important, or they're on here, or they're funnier and they're goofy. This is almost the entire game, the entire showcase. There's a couple that weren't in there. And the thing is that I see, compared to the other two, with this Xbox showcase, and I think because, they want to have this on Game Pass, there's a game for everybody in this showcase. There's strategy stuff in here. There's space RPG stuff. There's a Star Wars game. There's a steampunk Clockwork game. There's numerous Japanese games on here. There's one Capcom game that we didn't talk about because I didn't think it was that interesting, but Capcom game, day one Game Pass, new IP. There are 2 Persona games. 5 years ago, Andrew, when Persona 5 came out, 2017, if I would have told you that a Persona 3 remake was going to come out and a Persona 5 spin-off was going to come out, it was going to be announced at the Xbox event and will come on PC and every other system, what would you have told me?
I would have said that you were crazy because
you're
the thought
insane.
of Persona,
That you're a liar.
Exactly, being on Xbox is unheard of.
Now this is them, and because and people are like, well, why in Japan? They have only like five consoles sold in Japan. This is why. They need to prove it to people that their system is worth having. And the thing is that in Japan, like almost 10% of what they had sold, like to date, of like the Series X and the Series S, was sold in 1 week after the Direct. Like people pick them up in droves. I don't know if they will continue down the road, but it is the same. Like in France, like an Amazon.fr, Amazon France, the Series X and Series S went up, like they were sold out, and the sales went up by like 1,500%. An absurd number. And the thing is that like this is just for this year. This year will come by. Starfield will come out. Forza Motorsport will come out. The Persona 5 Tactica and a few other games that are part of Game Pass that are coming out this year will come out. There's a few other ones that were not at the show that are coming out this year as well, like one called Replace that I'm kind of interested in. But then next year is Hellblade, Avowed, good chunk it might be Fable next year, Persona 3 Reload at the start of the year, and other stuff that they haven't showed off yet. So they showed what they needed to. Xbox needed to have this showcase. It's straight up. They needed...
Yes. After they fumbled the bag horrendously with 2013 and the Xbox One.
They needed to have this. They needed to show, okay, you bought all these studios. What are you doing with them? You've done all these things. What are you doing with them? And there's still so much we don't know about. There's still, like, id Software. They finished Doom Eternal, almost 3 years ago? Or 2 years ago?
Yeah, something like that.
Finished Doom Eternal. They're probably working on a Quake remake. There's Machine Games, and Wolfenstein 2 came out years ago. They're working on Wolfenstein 3 and what's it called? Indiana Jones game. There's that. There's so many other studios that they're working on. There's stuff that's being worked on Halo apparently. The Gears studio is still doing its thing, but the craziest thing of this showcase is that before this, it's what are the Xbox games? It's Fable, Forza, Halo, and Gears. And that's pretty much it. Those were your Xbox games. Those were your tentpole Xbox games, and it's if you like an Xbox back in 2013 or whatever, for the people that got it in 2013, I feel bad for them because it's going off the high of the 360, which was the best. Of course you get into, and then nothing, basically. Now, this to me tells me that they're diversifying. It's no longer just the Fable, Forza, Gears, and Halo company. It's not just the Halo, Gears, Forza, Fable console. Now it's a console of Starfield. It's a console of Clockwork Revolution. A console for Metaphor ReFantazio, City Skylines, Cyberpunk, Stoics the Deep, Persona, Yakuza, Avowed, all these other things. And Fable, of course. And they still have those tentpole games that they'll probably continue to develop. It's the showcase that they needed to have. It's the showcase that I've always kind of thought they could pull off after the acquisition. And
that they should pull off after the acquisition.
Now, they shown it off. Now it's go time. You gotta deliver. They gotta deliver. If they can deliver on each one of these, incredible. And it'll be I think people will buy an Xbox. But that shit don't matter to me. I just want my Game Pass and I want my games. But I do have a bias in a sense towards Xbox because PlayStation, like I said earlier, their games are games that I'm not really interested in. They're movie games, they're, that sort of stuff. And that's kind of unfair to say, but the games and series that they make aren't really that interesting to me. Xbox, it was I like you because I like Game Pass, and Game Pass is pretty good. Now with all these acquisitions and with what they're developing, almost all of this stuff's on my I'll play it. And because it's on Game Pass, it's hell yeah, of course I'll play it. It's Fable, it's yeah, I'll play it. The Compulsion game, yeah, I'll probably play it. Star Wars, I'm going to play. Persona, I'm going to play. Avowed, I'm going to play pretty much everything here. Except for City Skyline, to be honest. That's the only one. Because I would relapse, and that's no good. No, relapse bad. I don't want it. But it showed, it's one of those where Sony's going in a direction where what they want to develop is live service games. They said in an earnings call that before a couple years ago, 80% of their budget for game development went to their movie games. So your God of Wars, your Ghost of Tsushima's, your Last of Us, that sort of thing. That's down to 40%, and 60% is for live service games. So it's you're going in a completely opposite direction now. It's kind of wild. This is one of those where I was thinking of getting one eventually because I want to, I just want to have like a separate kind of console to play up in my room or whatever. But now it's like, hell yeah, I'm going to buy probably that, they showed off in this showcase as well, a Series S that is like 1 terabyte. I'll probably pick up one of those just to have in my room upstairs. Because like there's games,
I think they need to drop the prices of consoles a little bit. I really don't think $500.
Which is funny because they increase the price everywhere else but the US. In Japan and everywhere.
Yeah, I don't think it's justified at all. I really don't see what's $500
if
about
your
that.
If your console, like the Series X at $550, I think that is like hardware-wise, like just hardware-wise, I do think it's worth that price. Like, you can't...
I'm just stingy with money, so...
Aren't we all? But in a pound-for-pound sort of way, like, what you get, like... hardware-wise, you can't build a PC with these specs for that price. Of course, when you build a PC, you're building a PC, so it's different. You're different architecture, different system, so it's different that way. But in that regard, but you can't pay for something that cheap. And then if you get the, I think some things are going to go cheaper. Like I think personally, the like Series S, that's like the 1 terabyte, I think that'll go down to the price of the normal Series S, and the 500 gigabyte one will probably drop by $50. So it's not too bad. But there's like here in Italy, straight up, bro, like you go on Subito, which is like, I don't know, like Craigslist or something like that, but not sketchy. You can find like Series S's for like 250 euros. Like lightly used, and it's like, that's stupid. That's stupid cheap. I was thinking about that. I was like, maybe. But anyways, that's my kind of closing thoughts on that one. Score. I'm gonna give it a score. I'm gonna give it a very solid 9 out of 10. There's barely anything in here that was a miss. Everything was pretty much a hit. Everything is on top of that on Game Pass, which is that. If it was not perfect, maybe I'll give it a 9. I'll stay with a 9. I think 9 is good enough. Good enough. So
yeah, I'd have to say the same. 9's good. It met and exceeded expectations, and it was awesome. It was exactly what I think Xbox and gaming in general needed. There's a few number of new IPs in there, and good ideas being spread around. It's definitely the most promising releases that we've had in a very long time. It feels like, at least back to back, all these things at once being announced.
Yeah, it's true. Like showcase wise, I think this is, I don't think there's been a showcase this good in like probably well over a decade. Of like, here's all this stuff, here's all these announcements, here's all these games, like incredible. But Andrew, what do you think?
No, your guys' score makes sense, and I'll probably have to give it a 9 as well. What do you think would have pushed it over to that perfect score?
Releasing tomorrow.
Yeah. One Shadow Drop would have probably done that. More, to me, the only real disappointment with some things is non-release dates for certain games. Like, I would have...
yes. I don't like, coming soon, maybe Q2 of next year.
That's the thing, because it's like just 2024. There was rumors that Hellblade was supposed to come out like Q4, not Q4, well, it would be Q4 of this fiscal year, which makes sense, but it was supposed to come out this year, at the end of this year. And so for it to still say 2024 is like, okay, when is it really coming out? But we'll see. If they had tighter release dates for things, then it'd be cool. But for the most part, it was pretty that would have put it to a 10 if they had release dates for a lot of these things and stuck with it. That's the big one. Because a lot of stuff gets delayed, and that's why I think they just put 2024 or like in Clockwork Revolution in due time. Cheeky. But keep going, Andrew.
Yeah, no, I don't want to parrot you guys too much, but yeah, no, I would agree with the 9 out of 10 assessment, especially compared to the other two showcases, which were sorely lacking. And now with our hindsight 2020, this one just took the cake, and it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of stuff to look forward to. For anyone who has Game Pass, there's definitely a lot more reason to buy into this. And if you don't already, then myself included, probably should think about getting it at some point in the future.
Yeah. Well, I know I can, for PC Game Pass, I can literally just it's like I can gift it to you. Give up to 5 friends a free 14-day trial. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want it, I can give you a trial for it. But that's
Well, maybe I might have to take you up on that offer when we get closer to the release of say Starfield, for example.
Yeah, for sure. But no, that's pretty much what I gotta say about it. I think is overall, I think it was a pretty decent-ish E3 season, but I think that's because, honestly, and I'm gonna be real, because Xbox, the showcase, did the heavy lifting.
Oh, 100%.
Like, I think that showcase alone was like, if this was split up between a bunch of them, I would have been like, damn, okay, this was a pretty good year for announcements, a lot of cool stuff. But it was all basically at one show. So it's wild. It's crazy to see what's going to be going on soon. And one big publisher we don't know about, and I think they're going to do their show probably in July or August, is EA. Because, they got stuff to show off. Where's the next Battlefield? More importantly, Andrew, where's the next Dragon Age? It's supposed to come out next fiscal year. So where is it?
MIA.
I'm missing an action. I hope not.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I think we'll do that in a normal TomCast episode. But yeah, there'll be probably a news item. But we'll see what EA has to do. But they got EA is one of those that, I'm gonna be real, is they are on the route if they do things well, and if they do things properly. EA is on the route to have a Capcom sort of redemption arc. Because they started with Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, and if they continue releasing good single player games, then that's a good thing. They need to start releasing good multiplayer games, though. That's the thing. They can't just be releasing trash. So I think for single player, I think they're covered. Yeah. I think they understand. I think they understand that people are, with Dead Space remake this year, it's like, if you haven't played the first one, it is a good remake. It is a great game, but it is one of those where they need to get their multiplayer stuff going, because the single player is working well. And I think they understand that the single player games need to be single player. They need to be good, complete experiences. Because they got burnt out with Andromeda. They got burnt out with Anthem Hard. And they got burnt out with half-assing it with Battlefront 1 and 2. And then here comes Jedi Fallen Order and literally outsold both Battlefront 1 and 2 within a couple weeks. That's what happens when you release a good single-player game. And you've kind of been seeing it, because they have that Wild Hearts game that they released, their Monster Hunter-like game.
Oh yeah, that's right. I've completely forgot about that one. Jeez.
That came out. That's an EA game. Their magic shooter game is coming out in a couple weeks here in July. That Immortals of Avium, that looks just silly. I'll probably be playing that game, but yeah, we'll see what happens. But overall, good season and a good chat. I am mortified at how long it is.
Always.
And
for the length. 5 hours.
But
we knew it was gonna be a long one going in.
Exactly.
We knew what we were getting into.
But anyway, gentlemen, I think it's been a great little chat. I think we've gone through a lot of stuff. This was shorter. Yes. I might have gone, hey, what are we playing? But nah, hell no. We need to get out of here. Any closing remarks before we head out?
No, I'm all good.
We're all good. Andrew, what about you?
Watch Tom's newest videos.
Yeah. Watch Slayer's X.
Slayer's X, that's right.
Yep.
Tune into his shorts. Those are nice little bite-sized ways
a little bit.
to keep up to date with the goings on. And yeah, this has been a tiring but an entertaining and good discussion.
So
yeah.
With that, fellas, if you are somebody listening and you've made it this far, honestly, genuinely thank you for making it this far. This is the first time we're doing something like this, so a 5-hour long monstrosity is probably not what you want. It'll be shorter by the time I, nip and tuck some things here and there. But this is very much like a new thing. So if you make it this far and you listen to it, thank you so much. If you listen to it in chunks, I'm fine. If you listen to it and you really liked it, yeah, let us know what you think. Comment down below, or you know where to find me. You know where to find pretty much all of us. Hopefully soon, Waves will be back up on his streaming stuff, and if we do, I'll let you guys know. And then we'll have to, like we did with Mike, but hopefully more successfully, we'll have to join him in his adventures.
Yes.
So, and then who knows? Maybe the next big event. I think the Game Awards. Like I think Waves. I think you should stream it.
Please let that kid. Please let that
guy
kid come
just
back.
finally got out of house arrest like a couple weeks ago.
Please let him come back. That was the funniest thing I've seen in so long.
That's why we got to stream it. That's why we should we should stream it and have this little
we gotta catch that shit
watch
live.
Party. Problem is that I say terrible deranged things. If you were Andrew and you were watching the Xbox showcase with me, I said some deranged things. Especially when it came to, who was it? Junkrat Queen, whatever.
Yes.
That was a if you don't know, you don't know, and you don't need to know. But if you were there, yeah, you know how deranged it was. But anyways, to finalize it all, this is Tom the Chosen One, and with our good friends Wave and Andrew here, we all wish you a wonderful day or evening and a great time. And I hope you all enjoy it, and we'll catch you guys later. Take it easy.